Welcome everyone to another Conversations in the Void. I'm your host, Graveyard, joined as always with my off-screen producer, Salem. Make sure to say hi to him in the chat. But I am pleased to introduce our guest for tonight. I met her at Days of the Dead past November here in Chicago. She's an indie thriller author with works including the Poe Series, Metalhead, and Patriots Dance. Please welcome to the Void, the one and only Rachel M Martens. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're having a glass of wine, relaxing. That's always nice to do at the end of the night.
I am.
Yeah, I need to have a beer after this, but just relax. It is Wednesday. But before we get into the works and everything about you, Rachel, I'd like to know more about you and your love of horror. So, do you recall what your first horror movie was?
I do. My gateway horror movie was Ghost Ship. Which I know most people consider a B movie or worse, but it's still one of my all-time favorites. I love that opening and I love that ending. It's killer.
Yeah, I love everything that Dark Castle did, in their 20-ish years run. Ghost Ship love as well, except the opening is perfect. Not every movie has, Cable going through everyone.
Right? It's so cool. So much fun.
Yeah, it's due for, I think, a sequel. I think we need a Ghost Ship too.
Oh, that would be awesome. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So, I mean, like I said, but that's your gateway, and you just kind of went whole hog after that.
I actually, it's kind of funny. I was always drawn to dark stuff and what horror I could get my hands on was totally me. I absolutely loved it. But no one in my family is into horror. None of my friends growing up were into horror. So I was kind of an island and didn't even know where to start. So, I was reading Stephen King when I was 13 and, every of the horror movies that I saw growing up, I absolutely loved every one of them and was obsessed with them, even though I had to watch them completely alone. But I've always been a writer. Even as a kid, I was writing, and I was writing scary stuff as a kid, which probably horrified my parents. I was, 8 years old writing stories that had skeletons and house fires and things like that in them. But
oh yeah, I love that though. I grew up reading Goosebumps, and then as soon as I was able to get a library card, I went through the entire Stephen King catalog as well. And it's especially my age, growing up in the 90s, especially the Chicago area, like, oh, you should watch sports, and then be the lone freak kid that likes horror movies that no one else wants to talk to.
Yep. My parents got asked if I was going through a phase. It wasn't a phase.
Nor should it be. I mean, we have to sometimes wear our horror on our sleeves.
Yep.
So
it's a lifestyle.
It is. It's, October is just a time to watch more scary movies, not just watch them throughout the entire year. That's why I say. So, Rachel, in all your ventures, do you have something that is just like this underrated horror that if you said, Graveyard, you haven't seen this, you have to sit this down and watch this tonight? What would it be?
Oh my God. I would think that you've seen way more horror movies than I have because I've been kind of playing catch up in my adult years, not having anybody to watch them with as a kid.
Or I guess, what's your guilty pleasure one?
Ghost Ship is my comfort movie. You know what? Have you seen Winchester?
Yes, that is a fantastic movie.
That is a fantastic movie. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that's a little out there.
Yeah. I mean, if I had the money, I'd make my own Winchester house just for fun.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I tell myself that someday when I, have Stephen King money from writing, that yeah, I'm gonna have a Winchester house.
Yeah, you gotta have fun with your money when you have too much of it, right? just,
Right,
just,
exactly.
just make it a tourist trap at that point in time.
There we go.
So then, Rachel, on the flip side, is there any piece of horror IP or franchise that you just don't get why it's made, say, $1 billion at theaters?
I don't get Hellraiser. I watched the first Hellraiser movie and I just didn't get it, and I couldn't watch any of the others. People love that franchise, and there's a ton of movies, but I just don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, I think the first 4 and then the newest one are the good ones. The rest are not always as good. Yeah, we have on our other show, we call it the Hellraiser syndrome, where people were making a horror movie, didn't know what to do with it, and they said, throw Pinhead in there for 20 seconds. It's Hellraiser.
That's actually kind of the impression that I got from the first movie. It was like this made sense as a horror movie, and then all of a sudden, these Pinhead creatures were in it, and I didn't understand them. And it was like, is this like a totally separate thing, or like it could have been just it could have been a horror movie on its own, and now Pinhead's in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the books, by Clive Barker, Hellbound, it's very different than the movies. I enjoyed the first couple, but I said everyone has their cup of tea, and it can't be for everyone all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So you said you started writing from a young age. Was it something that you just picked up from school, or just something that you read a book that kind of like sparked that interest in your head to continue and start doing that?
No, it was really just something I always did. Even when I was a little kid, I would draw picture books and physically put them together and stuff. I was just always making up stories, and I'm not telling them out loud. Like I can't do off the cuff like campfire stories or anything. It's always written out. But yeah, it was just something I always did. I had this really great teacher when I was in second grade. For a school project, she had us write a story with words and pictures, and then she had them sent to an actual printer and printed in hard copy books, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and I've still got that somewhere around here. And yeah, it was just always what I did, and the stories just kept getting longer and longer. When I was 12 or so, they became novel length, and I started working on the Poe series when I was in high school.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, was Poe something that that you found on your own? Was it introduced to you? Like, I read Poe in English class in, I think, middle school or high school. Is that when you were kind of introduced to Poe as well?
Yeah, same. The Cask of Amontillado was my introduction to Poe, and yeah, I just fell in love with him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't really appreciated, I think, during his time. It was more so after the fact that he essentially died poor and penniless, right?
Yeah, he did. It's a shame, and it's tragic that he was not really, he was some of his work was popular during his life, but he didn't make money off of it. He was poor. and really struggled. And when he died, one of his professional enemies actually wrote a terrible obituary slandering him, and that did terrible things to his reputation. And it took years for people to really appreciate him, and for, he's considered now one of the great, if not the great, American short story writer.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wasn't known that way during his life.
Yeah. What's your favorite Poe story that he has?
Probably The Cask of Amontillado. It's just a really fun, brutal story, and the setting gets me, and the catacombs. It's just so cool and interesting and spooky.
Yeah. One of our first episodes we did on their other show, our pre-recorded podcast that we do, we dived into the works of Poe, and we watched all the Vincent Price movies that were based on Poe's work, and that was a huge thing in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
I think Vincent Price nails it every single time. I think the atmosphere works really well because it's just it feels like a stage play, but in movie form.
Yeah. Have you seen the John Cusack movie, The Raven?
I started watching it, and it just didn't really pique my interest at that time. I just haven't gone back to revisit it. What did you think of it, though?
I really love it as an interpretation. There's a lot about it that hardcore Poe fans don't like. Like the love interest in it is a completely fabricated character, and she's very young, which is a little off. But yeah, it's, done for Hollywood or whatever, but it's a fun, thriller.
Now, what did you think of Flanagan's Fall of the House of Usher show?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I know. I have to see it. I let my Netflix subscription lap, and I'm putting together a list of things that I need to watch on Netflix, and I'm going to turn it back on for like the 30-day trial period or whatever it is, and binge all of those things. And Fall of the House of Usher is the first on the list.
Yeah, if you like anything Flanagan's done, it's done really well, and I think just because Flanagan is able to have those long dialects in his shows that are just conversations that you don't always get to do in shows. It seems like you have to have flashy, you have to have action, but he's just a lot of people sitting and talking, and it works really well.
Sure, that's awesome. Have you seen The Pale Blue Eye?
I have not, but doesn't that star the Harry Potter's cousin Dursley?
Yes.
Yeah,
he plays Poe. He plays a young Poe. That one's actually really cool. It's the first depiction I've seen where Poe actually has a Virginia accent. It's pretty true to character. It's interesting, and it's a thriller mystery.
Yeah. It's on my list to watch. We have to go back and I think do the newer Poe adaptations for our show. But you said you've been writing your Poe stuff since high school, and you've gone to the Poe Fest, right?
Yes.
What was that like for you?
It was an incredible experience. If you or any of the viewers are Poe fans, I absolutely encourage you to make a trip of it, because it's a really cool event. I attended the last 2 years. This past year, I was actually there as a nominee for the Saturday Visitor Awards with the latest Poe book, which was cool as hell. Oh my God. Surreal, crazy experience. But yeah, it's a really cool event. They do a nice job.
Yeah, I know. I interviewed a guy on another channel a couple months ago that writes a Poe comic book, and he does all the artwork for the Poe Fests.
Oh,
the banners
neat.
and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
He's all the way in California, and you guys makes it all the way out there too.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, so besides staying up till midnight writing in storms, how do you? What's your writing process like?
It depends on the book, honestly, because the way I write is it's very character driven. Um, and some characters are more talkative than others.
Mhm.
So sometimes when I'm trying to get it going, I'll often use music to get into the head of a character, or to get myself into a scene. And that sometimes gets things rolling. I do really, really basic outlines, but sometimes that doesn't even work out that way, because my ideal situation when I'm writing is I want to get to a point where the characters are so real and so alive that they totally take over the process, and I'm just transcribing it.
Mhm.
And that's how Poe is. I came up with the basic concept that the main character is this young woman in Baltimore. She's the direct descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, and there's a family curse that takes the form of Edgar Allan Poe's stories, bringing them to life around her and putting her and the people around her at risk. So she has to recognize them unfolding in time to prevent them. So that's the basic concept. And once I kind of started bringing this main character and some of the minor characters to life, they kind of ran away with it. So for each book, I knew from the very beginning which Edgar Allan Poe story I was going to bring to life. But,
Mhm.
um, the rest of what happens in the books is driven by the characters' actions and decisions, and their personalities, what they would be doing.
Mhm.
Anytime I get anytime I get blocked on a story, I'll it's usually because the character whose point of view I've been writing doesn't actually want to do anything or change anything. So I'll ask myself, is somebody else doing something that's interesting? Is one of the other characters going to do something that changes things and moves the plot of the book? And then usually if I switch point of views, it totally gets the story moving again.
Okay. Do you have a notebook by your bed? So if you dream something, you wake up and write it down.
Um, yeah, I do actually. I usually my dreams are new ideas. I God, I wish that I could actually, dream in the, you know, what I'm supposed to be working on to make a deadline. I've, I must have 150, 200 works in progress.
Oh
They,
wow.
yeah, I'm very ADHD. It's, I, I write what I'm obsessed with. And if I get a new idea and it's this great idea, then that's what I want to work on. And those are the characters that are talking to me. And when I get on something that I'm really excited about and obsessed with, I can write 10,000 words a day easily. Um,
Wow.
so some of, you know, some of my books, like the first Poe book, Nevermore, took 4 years, and I rewrote it entirely once and edited it multiple times. There's a lot of research involved. The second book took about 10 days
Okay.
because it was just flowing right, and just kind of let it go. And that's still one of my favorites just because it felt so natural and so right and was so fun to work with. And then again, book 3 took years to work on, and book 4 was mostly written in about 10 days.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I perused your listening list, that you have, and obviously lots of metal. Is that kind of like what you big metalhead, and to make metalhead essentially too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a total metalhead. Yeah. And I what I'm the playlists that you're talking about, so those are literally the playlists that so they're Spotify playlists that there's a link on my website that everybody can find, and listen to them. And it's literally the playlist that I was listening to on repeat writing those books. And it's some of the songs on these playlists are really specific to certain scenes, and some are just really specific to the characters. Different characters have different styles, different vibes. Some of it is what I think those characters would be listening to.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I love metal as well, because metal and horror go hand in hand as far as I'm
Absolutely.
concerned. They really do. Yeah. How many books do you
I
have?
love a ghost ship.
Well, yes, I thoroughly enjoy the late '90s, early 2000s soundtracks to those horror movies because they're pure metal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite soundtrack is the Freddy versus Jason soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. You've been going to cons and stuff like that too. What's that been like for you? You being at the table and putting yourself out there?
So crazy, and I'm so glad I did it. I it's almost 2 years ago now, I guess, that I did my first convention. I had never even attended one as a regular attendee before. And not long before then, my books had actually gone out of print, and I republished them and decided to nope, I want this to work. I want this, and I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to try and relaunch them and make this my life, really put all of me into this. And I tried conventions, and I have such social anxiety issues that I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck. Like, seriously, I can't even do family holiday functions without being so anxious. But horror cons work for me, and I think it's concerts are fine with me too. I can do concerts. And I think what it is with that kind of setting is being in this big room full of so many people that I actually have things in common with. And they're going to accept me and like me for exactly what I am, dark craziness and all, and they're gonna like me for those things. And that's been so cool. And horror convention people are so nice and so welcoming, and it's been amazing, such a great experience. And it's so cool to interact with the attendees, coming around all the booths, and to get to talk to new readers and having them ask questions. I often talk to people with an interest in writing who are asking me about writing or about publishing, and I get to, encourage them to go ahead and do it. And that's awesome. And talking to readers about my books, and just seeing, a light go on in their eyes, and getting to sign a book and hand it to them, knowing that they're exactly the kind of person that I wrote that book for. That's the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we did our first con a couple years ago. I was nerve wracked. I'm a very anxious person myself as well, but because I'm part of our indie horror team that makes movies, and I was always kind of the guy, even in high school, when I was in theater and drama, that was an actor, but I went more behind the scenes, behind the camera, just to be hidden from everything. And then
Yeah.
doing these podcasts for a couple of years now, about 5 years, it's put me back into the camera and to getting more comfortable outside my own skin to be able to talk to people. You know,
Sure.
it's great stuff. Like I said, I love the cons to no end. And you said it's meeting new people and just talking to people just like you. You know, will I feel comfortable at an anime con? Definitely not. But
No.
a horror con, yeah, of course. It's just, even with a table there, I still like to go talk to every single table there. That's how I met you, just because I
Yep.
like to go meet other creatives and do these shows and just learn about other people that are just like me.
Yep. Yeah, I love getting to know the vendors at the booths to either side of me, and yeah, it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Do you have any more cons planned this year?
Yeah, I have a couple booked for this spring already, and I've got a couple not officially booked yet, but in mind for later this year. My next one is going to be, I'll be at Evansville HorrorCon down in Indiana last weekend of February. Have you been to that one?
I have not, just because it's, the one in Rosemont is a drive back home for me. Evansville is a multiple hour drive, so I'd have to stay down there.
Yeah.
I did Akron Namicon
Oh,
last
really?
year. Yeah, but I drove in a blizzard to get there. And I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
How was that one? I haven't been there.
It was really good. I know the guy that's in charge of it. He's been on the show. He's a comic creator and writer too. So it was a lot of good fun. I was able to meet like John Abrams multiple times now.
Nice.
And it's just awesome across the board. And I think the main difference is, like, with the Akron one, Days of the Dead is like the biggest of the big horror cons, and Akron is a smaller gymnasium sized thing. So you actually get to talk to a lot more people, a lot more creatives are there too. It's not just necessarily vendors.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. But as long as Days let's the indie people in there all the time, that's, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So we're approaching the end of the show here, Rachel. But before we go, I got to ask, what's your favorite Stephen King story?
Oh. There are a lot of Stephen King stories I love, but my favorite is Pet Sematary.
Ooh, yeah.
I just the raw emotion and the creepy stuff with the cemetery and everything, and I love a killer ending. And that one is a holy shit wow ending, and that's my favorite thing.
I mean, sometimes dead is better.
What's your favorite Stephen King story?
It.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the original miniseries. I love the 2017 movie, and that's all I'll say for adaptations I like. I think that the transdimensional creature that is it's a great story.
Yeah.
And it's so personal because it's Derry, right? And Stephen King has always been able to set up that small town feel and put enough characters in there that you feel like the entire population of the town.
Yeah. I love that he does that. And even across books, there, people in Castle Rock are mentioning Derry and vice versa. And yeah, that he's created this whole world, this
Mm-hmm.
whole sandbox of his own to play in. I love that.
Even to the point where he himself became a character in his own book, The Dark Tower, because they went to the real world. They met him there.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Do you think the Pet Sematary movies have done the book justice?
I don't mind the Pet Sematary movies, and even I even like the newer remakes, even though they changed some things.
Mm-hmm.
I still thought it was really cool, and that the they managed to by changing things, they managed to surprise you with the ending, which I thought was kind of fun and in the spirit of the original to
Mm-hmm.
surprise you with the ending.
Oh, yeah. Completely agree. Did you ever see Pet Sematary 2, though? That came out like early 90s?
No, it's
I
on my
don't
list.
watch
Is it any? No. Good to know. Thanks for the warning.
It is. I think it's unnecessary. Just like Children of the Corn 2 through 17. Now that we have.
Good to know.
So, yeah, I try to watch everything Stephen King that comes out. When I was doing it, I was reading the book and then watching everything that came with it, and you just
Always book
realize
first.
always book first. It's very important. I teach my kids that the book's always better.
Oh, you had asked me if there was a horror movie that I thought was overrated that I just didn't get it. The Shining. Everybody
Okay.
loves The Shining. I read the book first and I couldn't get through the movie.
I mean, Stephen King couldn't either, so it's okay.
Yep, that's true.
Well, I wrote a couple years ago, I wrote an article about the Stanley Hotel and the Timberlake Lodge, that Timberline Lodge
Ooh,
that it was shot at. And
yeah,
I'm just doing these comparison trash to go, they changed the room number even from the book to the movie. I'm like, how hard is it to keep that room number the same?
right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the scariest thing I thought the scariest thing in the book was the hedge maze and the topiary animals, and that wasn't in the movie at all, which
Correct.
I I think that would have made for a really cool horror movie scene, but
Yeah, they added to the late 90s, early 2000s miniseries, so they had the creatures coming to life at least. So,
Mhm.
all right, Rachel, let's get into these rapid questions. Easy questions here.
Okay.
Practical or CGI?
Practical.
Yeah, it's always going to be practical. I think there's always, especially the indie world, it's
Yeah.
going to be practical forever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just different. It's just better.
Yeah, completely agree. We making movies, we haven't done any CGI. I don't think we ever will. But
There's
all right.
well, there's so much cool stuff that you can do with practical, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just there's something about it that feels more real.
Yeah. All right. If you were to get a knock on the door or an email tomorrow that says, Rachel, we want you to write the next entry in an existing IP or franchise, what would it be?
Um, oh my God. I would love to um I would love to write something for the Crow franchise.
Okay.
I love the Crow. Um Absolutely love it. I love it so much that I even like some of the sequels.
Even the newest one?
I actually haven't seen it because I'm afraid to be disappointed. Uh, I I liked Wicked Prayer though.
Okay.
But I just love the concept, and I love that you could, like they've done with the sequels, that you could keep doing it with different characters. So I could totally get into that. I would absolutely love to do that. That'd be super cool.
I love that answer. We need a good Crow sequel. For sure.
Yes. No kidding, right? It's overdue.
It really is. It really is. All right, Rachel. Any advice for people getting into the writing biz? Like any wisdom you can impart for them?
Write something that you would want to read. Write what you love, what you're passionate about, what you're excited about, and write it for you. Write the book that you can't find on a shelf anywhere and you need it to exist. And once it exists, then just find a way to make it happen. And, um, you know, especially now with indie publishers and with self-publishing, if you want it to happen, you can make it happen. It's all about how much you believe in it and how badly you want it to happen. If you want it to work, just keep pushing. Don't give up. Don't, you know, don't listen to anybody who, starts spewing statistics about, how often people make it or whatever. It's enough to just write the book that you love and then physically hand it to somebody else who's going to read it and love it too. That's worth it. Just make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, the indie world, we love to do it for the money, but we're doing it for the passion.
Yep, exactly. And, if you do it for the passion and not for the money, eventually, if you keep doing what you love and other people love it too, then it's going to take off and it's going to work.
Yep.
You got to be willing to put in the time and the legwork, but you can make it work.
For sure. All right, you ready for your random trivia question?
Sure.
All right. 20 years after a tragic high school play incident, students break into their school to vandalize the set of what fictional play?
Oh my God, it sounds familiar, but
if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it.
Oh my God, it sounds really familiar, but I don't know it.
All right, it's The Gallows. Have you seen that?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Like I said, especially being an artistic person, for them to go to a cursed play.
Yes.
It's right up your alley, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the concept. I will absolutely hunt that down. Good to know.
Don't watch the second part.
Right.
All right, Rachel, before we go, where can people find you if I learn everything about you and pick up your books?
Sure. So I've got a website, www.rachelmmartensauthor.com. And that's where you can find information about me and my books and events that I'm going to be at. You can subscribe to email newsletters. You can also hunt me down on social media. I'm most active on Instagram at Rachel M Martens. And awesome. The books are on Amazon as well as the website.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you, Rachel, very much for coming on. I'm glad we were able to make this happen earlier than intended.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great. This was a lot of fun.
All right, so thank you again, Rachel, and for anyone new here, follow us on all social media at PodOutatNight, and we'll see you next time. And don't get lost in the void. Good night.